Well, the Korean government is making various efforts to boost the job market, and it has unveiled a plan to increase the number of available jobs in the country and raise the employment rate from its current 64% to 70% by 2017.
And the plan also aims to boost the productivity of the workforce. Our Kim Ji-yeon is here with us in the studio to tell us more. Rather, she is standing by at the newsroom. Good evening, Ji-yeon. So what's the primary feature of this plan?
Daniel Konyong, this plan set out by the Labor Ministry revolves around flexible or time-selected jobs. These are different from conventional part-time jobs in terms of job security and benefits, but perhaps even more importantly in terms about the amount of pay. Part-timers in Korea are temporary workers who only get an hourly wage. On the other hand, time-selected employees are hired on permanent contracts, and they're entitled to the same wages and benefits as their salaried counterparts, but they work for only 4 to 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, which is just about half the time of most full-time employees who put in 9 hours a day. And the rate of pay that time-selected employees receive is higher than that of ordinary part-time workers, since it's proportional to what they would make if they were on a full-time contract.
So, Ji-yeon, it makes us wonder, how much pay are we talking about?
Right. So if the hourly wage of a full-time employee is $10, for example, then the part-time employee under this system would also be entitled to $10 for every hour on the clock. But the aggregate wage the employee would receive under this system is less than what full-time workers would get because they're working fewer total hours. Part-timer employees, on the other hand, are usually paid something close to the minimum wage. The Ministry of Employment and Labor says the plan will bring flexibility to the labor force and the market, and says the government will increase the number of these time-selected positions to 930,000 by 2017.
And we are also curious to find out who will be the biggest potential beneficiaries of the government's new plan.
Right. Well, mostly women and retirees seeking to re-enter the workforce will be the biggest beneficiaries. Take a look. Nam So-yeon is back at work after having left her job 5 years ago to focus on raising her 2 children. She's a counselor at a call center of a local business consulting company. She says that she only has to work for 4 hours a day, which makes it easier for her to balance work and family life than before.
I'm making the most of the hours when my children are in daycare.
Nam is one of the 2 million Korean women who have given up full-time jobs to take care of family. According to a recent survey conducted by the Ministry of Employment and Labor, 8 out of 10 unemployed women said they liked the idea of the time-selective hiring system. More than half of the respondents said the reason the system works for them is because it gives them time to be at home and raise their children. The country's large conglomerates and other companies have started to adopt the plan. Samsung said it would add around 6,000 time-selected jobs this year alone.
We are on board with the government's plan to increase the number of time-selective working hour jobs, which emphasize the balance between work and family.
But not everyone is on board with the government's move. The Korean Confederation of Trade Unions, one of the country's 2 umbrella labor unions, said the jobs created under the plan are low in quality, and the government needs to come up with a better plan.
All right, we apologize for that technical glitch, but Ji-yeon, what does the KCTU mean when they say that they plan to create low-quality jobs?
Well, the civic group argues that the government's plan will lower the number of full-time jobs by substituting them with 2 to 3 selected working hour jobs. So in the case of prospective workers in their 20s who just graduated from college but don't have any children, this may not be the best solution for them.
I understand that this plan may be helpful for mothers trying to get back to work, but for me, I'm afraid it would only lead to a deterioration in the quality of jobs.
I doubt this plan would help me find a good job. The government needs to come up with something that is more sustainable.
And what about the experts? Where do they stand on this new system, Jian?
Well, I talked to Park Chun-sik from the Korea Research Institute for Vocational Education and Training, and he viewed this as a positive step toward compensating existing part-time workers that are paid less than their full-time counterparts. But he says the government needs to do more to solidify the plan for a longer period of time.
In order to sustain the system, there may be a need for punitive measures to make sure that the companies hiring for these selective working hour positions are actually paying employees the amounts they promised.
All right, thank you so much for that report, Jian.
That was our Kim Ji-yeon reporting live on the government's plan to boost the employment rate in this country by offering flexible or what's been dubbed as time-selective jobs.